Mr. Harrison, good morning. Morning, sir. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number, please.
My name is Leroy Harrison. My DOC number is 105565.
All right, Mr. Harrison. Let me acknowledge, I don't have a list of the folks who are there with you at Angola, so I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves.
How you doing? My name is Stuart Freeman. I'm a friend of Mr. Leroy Harrison.
Okay. And sir?
My name is Gerald Parker, and I'm here as a friend and a supporter of Leroy Harrison.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you being here. We also have here in support on Zoom, we have Aisha Brown, Mr. Harrison's niece, Ms. Marilyn Boudreaux, his cousin, and Barbara Chewing, his sister. So Mr. Freeman or Mr. Parker, one of you will be allowed to speak because we already have two other folks registered to speak. We'll call on you at the appropriate time to do so. Here in opposition, we have the victim's daughter, Ms. Victoria Charbois, who will also be speaking. First, Mr. Harrison, I'll read some identifying information into the record, ask you to confirm it, then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Freeman. The case has been assigned to him. He'll take the lead on the interview. All right. So, Mr. Harrison, you're here today seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in March 1984 in Vermilion Parish to a life sentence for an aggravated rape conviction. Mr. Harrison, is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, would you answer Mr. Freeman, please?
Okay, Mr. Harrison, how old are you?
60.
How long have you been incarcerated?
I came in Angola December the 10th, 1985.
Okay, so you're looking at what, 24, 47 years?
Excuse me?
47 years?
No, sir, not 47, right at 40 years from the time I was arrested.
Okay, yeah, 40 years, okay. And what's your educational level?
Well, I graduated in the 9th grade, sir.
Have you gotten your GED?
I'm backlogged for GG class now.
Okay. We just started trying to get it. Okay, Mr. Harrison, tell me what happened. What happened that night, what you did, and walk me through the events.
Okay, December 3rd, 1982, I went to Miss Brandon's house and I got in through her window, bedroom window, and I saw Miss Brandon laying on her couch, and I woke her up and took her to her bedroom and forced her to have sex with me.
Okay, did you have a knife?
Yes, sir.
Were you wearing a mask?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know you went to trial on that charge. What about Miss Deborah Petrie?
I don't know anything about that case, Charles, but I know they had.
About that case, well, they were going to bring you to trial on it. Didn't they arrest you for it?
No, sir.
But they had arrested you for that one too, but they only tried you on Miss Brown. Anna. Okay, so you knew her, right? Y'all had seen her at a club and stuff. How well you knew
I've known her all my life since I was a kid. Her family, my family was close friends.
her? Your old friends, yet you still did rape her.
Yes, sir.
Have there been any other rapes in your life? We got a officer that testified that you were thought of to commit several others.
No, sir. I never committed any other crime but that one.
Any other crime but that? Okay. The victim is deceased. You have all law enforcement opposition, DHE, Your sister Barbara is unopposed. Her daughter is opposed. And they have some statements that she'll testify later. What classes have you taken?
I've taken 100-hour substance abuse, anger management, victim awareness, thinking for a change, Malachi Dad, and risk management.
Okay, so have you taken sex offender treatment?
Yes, sir. Risk management.
Okay, you've taken all 4 phases?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where would you go if you were to get out from the governor later?
Well, I have a home in my hometown. The home I grew up in.
It said you're a low risk, that you're minimum custody, good institutional record. You have 49 write-ups. The last was in 2016 for a 30W. What class did you learn the most out of?
Victim awareness.
And what did that teach you?
It taught me the impact of my crime, that I was wrong. I hurt Miss Brandon. I hurt her family. And it broke family ties. Our family was close at one time until I committed that crime. And it haunted me all my life. Excuse me. Excuse me.
I have no further questions.
When Falvey, is there any input from the facility?
He has been a Class B trustee since 2006, which would be the highest at the time that he could attain because of the nature of his crime. He worked several years for us in the carpenter crew at Maine Prison. He's currently housed at Camp F as a dorm orderly. Has been there since June of 2018 to present.
Thank you.
He's spoken and he's been questioned on the classes in the programming. And that's about it, man.
Thank you much. I don't see any other questions by my colleagues. Could we hear from Ms. Marilyn Boudreaux, please? Go ahead, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Marilyn Boudreaux. I'm Leroy's cousin, first cousin. And I knew he had made mistakes in his life, being young, and that was a bad mistake. But I think he served enough time and that he should be free to come out and live his life, because I mean, he have family who do love him.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you. We appreciate you taking the time to share your remarks with us today.
Oh,
Could
you're
we
welcome.
hear from Ms. Barbara Chewing?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Leroy Harrison's sister. I'm sorry, but I just want y'all to know that we really do love our brother, and we've been behind him every step of the way, even though he made wrongdoings. It broke up our family tie. We was close knit family, the Browns and the Harrisons. We was in and out each other's house. My parents and their parents were straight across the board friends, and all this just shattered our family together. And I'm so sorry what happened to Cheryl, because Cheryl was our friend. All the sisters and brothers, we was all tight. But I feel like he didn't pay the debt to society and let him make a change. Everybody needs a second chance. because people do change. And darling, I'm so sorry for what happened. But I just actually, I'll let my baby brother come home because it's just 5 of us, we're 13. Now all of them died off, and I'd like to see him home with us right now. And he do have a home sitting there waiting for him because we got it waiting and prepared for him. So please, I hope y'all have a heart to let him come home. And I thank y'all so much for this time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Barbara. Appreciate your input. So, which of the guests that penitentiary would like to speak on Mr. Harrison's behalf?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Stuart Freeman. Again, I had the blessed opportunity to get to know Mr. Harrison. Over 10 years ago, I too, like Mr. Leroy, made mistakes in my life. And this same honorable board give me an opportunity to come home and be a blessing to my community. Mr. Leroy, I looked up to him as a big brother in prison. And he moved out of the dorm to go serve other inmates in 3 lower and help the chronic inmates. He's always had a heart toward the men here. And that meant a lot to me, to see this man have a heart toward other men. Not many men here in this prison have a heart that way. And I was truly drawn to him because of that. And again, I just pray that this board will give him the opportunity to come home and be a blessing to his family as he's been to the men here at Angola. Thank you, Your Honor.
Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, Mr. Harrison, is there a statement? I'm sorry, I have to hear from, I'm sorry, Miss Victoria Sherbois. We'd like to hear from you at this time.
Good morning. How's everyone? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm flabbergasted. I heard a lot. I appreciate Mr. Harrison admitting guilt. I think everyone can change. I just don't think everybody understands that the trauma that it has caused. We can take this up with God, or we can have a decision. I really don't have a decision because everybody said the truth. It drew a wedge, and I was 8 when this happened. So to hear everybody's opinion has really touched my heart because it's the truth. It drew a wedge between a family, and guess who suffered the most? It was mama. It was us children. Because at the end of the day, I also dated a family member in this family. And sitting back looking today as a grown woman, this messed up everything. Because as a child standing up telling y'all, listen to everybody, it drew a wedge between our families. And us children paid for something we had nothing to do with.
Amen.
At the end of it, everybody is allowed a second chance. Everybody right about that. But is everybody really looking at the facts of everything that went on? Because at the end of the day, I don't know what to say. I watch my mama. I know that there were times that we were approached by certain people and asked to take back what was done. It touched me to hear him admit what he did, but it touched me that we suffered, the children. My brother is married to one of these family members' children. That was a strain. I watched it, all of it. But at the end of the day, I forgive him. But I realized this many years later, I was a victim as well, and nobody see that. So at the end of the day, I accept his apology. I'm sorry for what happened because I didn't know nothing about it. I'm learning, still learning of how close we was as a family. And that's what rips us apart because some of us close and some of us not. But look who missing out. I can't make a decision either way. I love my mama. I love myself. I love everybody in the situation. But it is what it is. Has he been reformed? I don't know. I don't know him. I never met him since I was 8. I wish the best of luck, but I'm a victim as well. Because when I look back on everything, it was painful. I don't know what to say. But thank you for listening, and I appreciate being able to join in.
Yes, ma'am. We do appreciate you joining and hearing remarks. Thank you so much for joining. So, Mr. Harrison, now is your opportunity. If there's something you'd like to say, special remarks to the board.
Say in closing.
In closing, I pray that the board consider my apology. I'm sorry for what I've done to Ms. Brannon. I'm sorry for the pain and suffering I caused in my community for the crime that I committed. I'm just asking that the board see fit to give me a second chance to become a law-abiding citizen and try to correct some of the wrongs I've done in my past. And I'm truly, truly sorry for the harm I caused you and your mother. Truly sorry. You know, I was young, hard-headed, and I made a bad decision in my life. And I just hope that I get a second chance to do better, to go forward and do better. I thank the board for this opportunity to give me a chance to speak on this because it has haunted me for a long, long time. And I'm very, very sorry for what I've done. I thank you.
I think we're prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman will be back first.
Okay, Mr. Harrison, no, you're taking responsibility for this charge, but I mean, you were indicted by a grand jury on Deborah Peak. And you claim you never know and had nothing to do with it. And yet you were indicted by a grand jury. They just chose not to prosecute you because they found you guilty on this. So in my mind, you're not taking full responsibility, and my vote is to deny.
Mr. Rushback.
Madam Chairman, basically express opposition to the victim's family, the DA's office, law enforcement, and the nature of the offense. My vote is to deny Mr. Harrison's request.
Mr. Mirabella.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I agree with my colleagues, and I vote likewise to deny.
All right, Mr. Harrison, we've received 3 votes to deny. I do agree with my colleagues based on the opposition that's been expressed in the record by law enforcement and others. My vote today also is to deny your application for clemency. I do want to thank everyone who's joined us today. Today, Mr. Harrison, your application's been denied.
Wow. I thought that they would let him out actually, but I think what happened was, now I'm happy that they did. I mean, okay, when Mr. Freeman brought up that second case, I was like, okay, but we've seen things like that happen before, but this is different. In this case, he was indicted by a grand jury. By the way, I tried to find information on this, and as you can see, even from the daughter of the victim, she couldn't find. They don't have a lot of information. It's a popular name also, Leroy Harrison. But a few things that are a takeaway. One is that even though people are given life sentences, I guess this is why we see people getting prosecuted in court, because you just never know what would happen with that case. They probably looked at this, they indicted him, and then they said, okay, well, why are we going to take him to court, have the victim go through the trauma of it when he has a life sentence anyways? Well, this would be the answer why. But yeah, we might be looking at a serial rapist. it's scary stuff. They were friends of the family. Like this isn't. They were based there. I mean, they were like close in family. He knew her. He went through the window with the mask on and a knife. And then what I really want to hear about more is what the guard, what he alluded to, what the guard said. I think we can all take a guess what that meant. Maybe it wasn't admissible, or maybe it was just a guard wrote the information. The guard made sure it was there, and for whatever reason, they didn't talk more on it because I don't know why, but they had it enough to ask about it and enough to probably influence his decision. Now he's been a trustee for a long time, but it could have been he's been locked up a long time too, since what, 1985. So he's probably doing some bad stuff in prison too. The only reason I thought maybe they would let him out was because the victim's daughter said she forgave him, and we've seen and it's been like he's 60 years old, and it's been like 37 years. But no, they did the right thing in my opinion, because there is something scary about the fact that he has like the serial, and what was hinted to and alluded to is scary. I guess let's put it that way. So, and hey, karma can be real, and your past can catch up to you. And in this case, I think it did. In this case, I think it did. And for that reason, I'm quite satisfied that karma played out the way it should. With that, I'll let you go.